Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
We're back, free casting. We got Rowdy, Jarrod, Jeremiah, Brett Vaughn's even stopping by tonight. We're going to be talking about how to make pemmican, mules and horses, how to win a Brett Vaughn dog, Colorado hunting, Nevada hunting, and we're even going to talk a little bit about cooking. So stay tuned. It's Wednesday. I'm here on time. Right at 5 o'clock. We have Jeremiah Flaw on. We got Rowdy coming on. There's Rowdy. There's Rowdy.
Let me turn my stuff up here.
I named this a bunch of BS, so I got my bull in the background there. I wish I could make it that when every time we talk some crap about something or a bunch of BS, I could hit a button.
Bull goes off.
The poop would fall out of his butt. Oh, look who's early to the show.
Oh, Brett. How you doing, Brett?
I'm doing all right, I guess.
You guess.
I guess.
You guys staying cool out there?
Oh,
yeah. It's
nice. Sweater weather.
Oh, yeah. It's 111 right now.
Yeah, it's 106 here.
I took my hoodie off just to come on the show.
I don't feel bad now. It's only like 98 here. We've had a cool front come in.
92 degrees in Sholo at 6,000 feet. 6,000 feet. That's crazy.
Terrible.
Missy's here. Tim Brink's here. Okay, I'm not always that late. I was right on time because I got a 34-second intro, and at 30 seconds, I kicked it on before we were supposed to go live. That way, we would be live at 5 o'clock. Talk about some management.
It's all about that time management.
It's all about that time.
Doing a heck of a job.
Now I got to watch my mouth because my wife's here. Damn it. Oh, Johnny's here. 112 degrees.
I don't allow my wife to get on my live. She's not around here, is she?
No.
All of a sudden you see a boot
nowhere
come
near
in, Brett.
She's nowhere near a camera. I know that. It's all Brett has to do to keep his wife away is put a fake camera up.
Just pick up a camera and she runs like a goose.
Yep. What's going on? Brett, what'd you do today? Run around. You're supposed to be.
I had an idea. I'm going to be taking these pack trips. I got my other mule going pretty good, and I've done it before in the past. I made all my own dehydrated meals. I got a big Cabela's dehydrator.
Very cool.
So I started making my own dehydrated meals. I went to the grocery store myself and bought my stuff, and then I'm going to make some pemmican also. Have y'all ever ate pemmican?
I have not.
That's something I've always wanted to make, though.
It's easy. It's easy.
Is it?
Yeah. It's you get like a top round or bottom round rump roast or whatever. Cut all the fat off of it. Slice it as thin as you can slice it. Put it in a dehydrator at 100 and as high as your dehydrator will go. Yeah, but you got to just make it extremely dry, and then and then you make it where you can put it in the blender. It comes out as a powder. Yeah. And then dehydrate some dates and berries, whatever you can, and do the same thing with it and make it just a powder. And then you get some tallow, some beef tallow. You can make your own. You can go to the butcher and get, fat and burn it, and what do they call it?
Render it.
There you go. Render it down. Make sure you get all the, everything out of it, and where it's just the tallow. And then you just mix it up in the, in a bowl and put it make it into a brick. You can put it in the refrigerator. Then when you get it out, of course the tallow is going to harden everything up. Oh, you can put nuts in it too. I'm going to put pecans in mine. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of honey in it too. They say, I've never ate it myself, but they say honey helps a lot. So
that means it probably tastes pretty bad until you add the honey.
Probably
30 bland.
So and then cut it up in bars,
Yep.
And
That's what I heard. Yeah. And then they would wrap it in wax paper.
yeah. And it's got like an indefinite shelf life. They said it'll last forever. And it's got everything.
And that's why I want to make some. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know. It'll be on one of my videos. I'm not going to show me making it, but I'm going to flash back to it, I guess is what you say.
Awesome.
And,
yeah. I'm really interested in that because I wonder if you throw like seasonings and stuff in there, if they would affect it at all.
Well, that's what I don't know. Time you put the fruit, the berries and everything in there, I don't know how sweet that'll make it with the contrasting flavors if you want to put garlic salt or something like that. But
Yeah, I imagine you could do a small amount at least.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'll find out. I'm fixing to go to the house and start slicing my meat up right now. I got to put it on. It's probably going to take about 12 to 14 hours to dehydrate the meat. And, but I'm also doing some other meat. I make some, they call it gravel, just hamburger meat. And, I'll dehydrate that and get all that ready. And then tomorrow I'll do different kinds of fruits and stuff like that and try to get it all ready, try to make my own. I've done that before. I did it in the past. It's been a long time since I've done it. So, but you know
what I've seen the outdoor boys do? He takes those vacuum sealers and he'll make some dough and vacuum seal it and cut it open and just fry his bread. Kind of cool.
I years ago, I made bannock. I make my mixture and take it to the mountains and, cook it in a fry pan and, it's good. And I got it, man. When I started doing this, and this probably was, I bet it was 10 years ago. I bought that big dehydrator, the big Cabela's one, the great big one. Then I bought a commercial vacuum sealer, and nice. I just haven't. I've been moving a lot here lately, and then when I lived in the mountains, I didn't have enough electricity. Really, I'd have to run a generator the whole time to run a dehydrator. Didn't have enough solar power. So,
yeah, imagine that draws a bunch of electricity.
Yeah, and constant. It takes forever for it to happen. So I don't know.
You think the natives had a dehydrator? They just hung it in the tree.
Yeah, natives had a lot more time too.
Yeah, he's got a point.
They're not trying to do podcasts and make videos and
go
on other people's podcasts. Money. That's it. That's all I want is a lot of money.
That's all.
It's the solution to everybody's problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen Ed Barnes commented on that too.
Tim Brink asked, no, I don't have a freeze dryer, but I would love to get one.
Right.
I think they're a lot faster and probably do it a lot better.
So there's things that you can do. I think there's like adding like sulfur and stuff, or soaking like certain fruits you can freeze dry, but they turn brown, right? Like bananas and apples and I don't know what else. I'd heard from my neighbors back, so that I'm talking like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, my neighbor used to do freeze dry persimmons and apples, and they'd freeze dry oranges also. And I remember him saying something about putting or sulfur treating it, but I don't know. It's my limited memory.
Seems like I've heard something like that before also. But when I've done, back years ago, I did everything. I did squash. I did everything in the
that's cool.
In the dehydrator, and then I apples, of course, and I remember them probably getting discolored a little bit, but it didn't really bother me. But yeah, I kind of excited to get started doing it again. Really.
Yeah.
Well, you can buy those little, even vacuum sealing. You can buy those little oxygen deoxygenizers, whatever they are. Off of
those little packets. You throw them in there.
Yeah, the do not eat stuff.
Oh, and put in your vacuum seal bag to try to absorb any moisture.
Packets.
Yeah.
Take out all the oxygen.
Yeah, you can buy those. You can get them in those little bitty plastic, like fireworks size little plastic thingies, little cylinders.
Yeah.
Or you can get them in the packets, the cloth packet.
I'd imagine that would take it out of there.
I'm sure it'd help.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to be experimenting with it for a while because I'm going to try to get everything ready, I'm going to try to do some pack trips in the next month or so. But then this winter, I want to go see a bunch of different country, and get out of this damn desert.
I don't blame you. Desert's cool and all, but exploring new country that's where it's at.
Oh, I know. I want to get where I can go. And there's, I know people think I'm crazy, but there's things I want to do. Like the Butterfield Trail goes right, not too far from my house right here. And I went out in my truck and I took my buggy and I kind of explored it. I could leave right here and come out in Arizona and on my mules. And I'd love to do that.
How far is that?
I figured it'd take me about 8 days.
It's what, about 20 miles a day, 15, 20 miles a day?
Yeah. I think realistically you do in flat ground. And I think on this new mule of mine, I could probably do 35 miles a day.
Oh, she's walking out funny.
Man, she can cover the country and never weakens.
Oh, Brenda?
No, Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie. Sorry.
Yeah, Brenda was the borrowed mule.
That's
pissed
right.
Bonnie off.
Yeah. And then I got my pack mules and everything. And I, if you ever get a chance, look up the Long Riders Guild, and to be able to be accepted in the Long Riders Guild, you have to ride over 1,000 miles, consecutive miles. And I won't be able to do that. Maybe when I'm 80 and I don't have any responsibilities, but right now I can't do that. But one of the things they say is to ride right out of your yard. Just get on your take a pack animal or whatever, ride right out of your yard, just keep going. And that, for some reason, that just fascinated me.
It's pretty cool. I forget what the name of that trip was, but it goes from like Oklahoma to California somewhere. And it was a race. I think I'd mentioned it a while back, but back when I was in my early 20s, I was working for a pack station. The boss wanted to do that with all Mustangs. And so we had some damn good Mustangs. Like we'd do 40 miles in a day on a Mustang. And they would still be able to go the next day. They're just stout, tougher than nails. Yep. Good horses. And we got too busy and we were never able to enter, and never happened. But it was some kind of race, and it was you could have like 4 people, and it was like an 8-day or 10-day trip, or I forget. I don't remember the whole ins and outs because this is 18 years ago I'm thinking of. But yeah, I always wanted to do that, and I never have researched it because it's pretty dang cool.
There's a guy from Utah right now that's riding Mustangs, and he's going all the way to the East Coast and then back, and he's got a YouTube channel, Jake Har HAR something. Let me look and see if I can find it here. But no, he's doing that. And then have you seen the documentary Unbranded?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't watched it. I know it's a couple years old now or something like that.
That's a good one.
Is it?
Really good one.
Yeah. And then there's a guy named Tim Cope. And matter of fact, I got his book right here. This guy rode across the steppes on the trail of Genghis Khan. This is a good book. If you like that kind of thing. Yeah. And then he's got some YouTube videos also. Now these Mongolians, man, they are horsemen.
They are. They're I've watched a lot of documentaries on them, and they are some bad suckers.
And they don't have big horses.
Impressive.
No, they're little, but they're tough. Yeah. And and the Romans, when they had all those big, heavy horses with the armor and all that, and these Mongolians with these little, fast, quick horses, just beat the hell out of them. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. See, there's
my brother went to Mongolia to go. He loves hunting sheep and goats and stuff, and he went, I don't know, about 5 years ago, and he spent like 30 days, or like a full month, maybe a little over a month in Mongolia, and he said they still have statues everywhere, shrines for Genghis Khan, and it's a status symbol. Everybody gets that 23andMe DNA tested, so it's a status symbol to have be a descendant of Genghis Khan.
I wouldn't doubt if Chris had some of that DNA in him, the way he gets around.
Maybe. I tried to do what he did.
I think he spread his DNA quite a bit in Arizona.
I'm jealous. Wife made me get fixed last year.
Nowadays, you can't run away from it. They follow you everywhere.
No, but and the horse was everything to them. They milked the mares and drank the mare milk. They bled them out. Yep, bled them. That's amazing.
They drink the blood on the run.
Yep, they lived on the horse. I mean, that was everything to them. That's pretty cool. Yep. Anyway,
y'all
got me excited.
I know it's horse talk. It's good stuff.
I know.
So anyway, I'm going to make some trips like that. I'm going to smoke a little bit more of a cigar.
Why is it horse people have their horses' hoofs dressed every 6 to 8 weeks, and wild Mustangs have perfect hoofs? That's not true.
That's not true.
So
yeah,
that isn't true. It depends on the area, because I've had Mustangs down here on the Totem Reservation, and it's like sandy. There's not a lot of rock, and they've had some ski slopes. I call them snow horses. So
we get muleys like that.
Yep.
The mule deer grow toes and they curve up.
Oh, well, the Totem Odom Reservation butts up against 36A. I think it's the Totem Odom Res.
It is.
And it's all sand. So you'll shoot a muley buck, and he's just.
So I didn't trim my horses for years and years when they was out on. I have state land behind me, and the old rancher, I used to lease that from him and let my horses go out there, and perfect feet. That's all Malapai rock.
Yeah. So the way I understand it is, right. So those Mustangs, they're traveling, they're stepping on those rocks. They're always grinding off and chipping off those hooves. So they stay at a manageable length. When you have a horse that you're riding, if you're riding them consistently and you're riding them on, say, blacktop, you're riding them through rock or just the different types of rock, right? Smooth rock compared to the lava rock, compared to granite. It all wears a horse's hoof differently. So to keep a horse sound, that's why you trim them, put shoes on them, and it always keeps that ideal angle of the hoof. That way they stay
55 degrees or whatever it's supposed to be.
Well, and
52 to 57. I think the front's 52, the back's 57, or vice versa.
Well, I used to bring my horses in and put that gauge on them just to see where they were. But natural shoeing, what they call it, right? Natural trimming.
And somewhere around that 52 degrees.
And we ask our animals to do a lot more, I think, than those Mustangs. I mean, they're not
weight.
What's the weight?
Yeah, they're grazing, and then I've seen videos of them, gimping around out there. We try to avoid that because we want to use ours. We don't want to go out there and saddle up and have a sore horse.
Exactly. We want the best for them.
Yeah, exactly. Now my mules, I haven't. Now, knock on wood, I haven't. Agnes, I rode her it was last year, before she died, barefooted, and I only put shoes on her 2 times. And one time I just put them on her front feet, and. But Jet Johnson, I had to shoe him. I mean, but I also think back then I was riding a lot harder than I did with Agnes. I really do, and I was up there in those mountains with him a lot, and I didn't have anything else to do.
Did you ever soak your horse's hooves in that copper tox?
I never did none of that. I'm the worst feeding, I'm the worst shoeing, trimming, taking care of my animals, but I got a bunch of Mustangs, so they're not. I don't feel like you have to foo them up so much.
Back years ago on our horses, I burned the quick back with you can't do it anymore with iodine crystals and turpentine. You put iodine crystals in their foot and wrap a towel around it, pour a little turpentine, and it goes.
Yeah,
but it burns the quick back. You can't get iodine crystals anymore because I think they use it to make crack or meth or something like that.
What the heck? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get it. Yeah.
No. When I lived in Nevada, we hunted off Mustangs a little bit, and that was nice. If you got a good one. This cowboy,
that's like mules. You better get a good one.
Yep.
This cowboy that was helping me out lion hunting, he got out of dogs, but he would take me out in the mountains, and he'd always go to those Mustang auctions and buy them for $100, $200 or whatever. And he gave me this horse named Macklin. I mean, the thing was awesome. Just a gelding, you can go up, you could face him up a hill, and he'd just start, just pounding rocks all the way up. And then he had this horse named Sam. Great horse, except for the first half hour.
It's always fresh, huh? Cold back.
Oh man,
I had a flea bitten gray, same way.
He would buck and break in two, and if you fell off, you had to repeat the half hour all over again.
Shit. I think I'd find about a 5 mile long road where I turned off, and I just let him walk behind the trailer.
I am behind the trailer.
I put him in a trailer and go down the worst road you can. That's how I broke a lot of horses.
They say that They say if you got one that's colicking, that's real good. Put them in the trailer and bounce them down a rough road.
Stress them out.
I hadn't heard that.
No, and it because of a twisted gut and it bounces their intestines around and shake things up and free them up. I've never done it, but I heard that and it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
Maybe.
Yeah, I heard it. I've never done it.
Maybe that's why my horses never got colic, because I'm always going around stupid roads that are just horrible. But usually when I'm, and I'm going through the Salt River Canyon here, and everybody gets behind me when I'm pulling a horse trailer, and they think, oh, man, I'm going to be stuck behind a trailer. But my old mule, she turned that a little 45-degree angle. I can take them corners 3 times faster than the speed limit sign. Oh, yeah. Yep. So
I don't even think
I'm going to put Dylan on tonight.
I used to take off with early in the morning with Jet and throw his hay on the floor or on the trailer floor and just kick him in there.
There you go.
Drive 100 miles. I didn't ever worry about it. That's why I ride mules. They can withstand benign neglect.
I've been thinking about either getting mules or a Mustang again.
So. Man, I like the Mustangs. I feel like the Mustangs are just as good as the mules.
I like the price range of a Mustang compared to a good mule.
The only problem I ever had with one of my best Mustangs, I call him Cabalito, and the only problem I had, he would go anywhere. He would do what a mule would do. He would do what those Bronx and Donks guys would do. He'd jump on rocks. He'd go wherever I wanted, except for in a horse trailer. That guy would try to kill himself and you if you tried to put him in the horse trailer. So I got rid of him. Nothing I do. I couldn't starve him for 6 weeks and put alfalfa or oats in a trailer. He'd just sit there and die. He'd look at that food and die. He didn't want nothing to do with the horse trailer. So
I had this old Mustang, and I had him for like 10 or 12 years. Now he's retired now, but he was about 6 when I first started riding him at the pack station in 2000 what the heck was that? 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. He'd be 5 or 6 then. And first time I rode him, he came straight from the BLM sale. They rode him in the sale, right? And then the boss had bought him for like $500-600 and then threw him out on pasture. And he sat for 2 years. I hopped on him, rode him around the round pen. He bucked a little bit, but not crazy. And then the next day I took him on like a 23-mile trip. And he was waspy and spooky as all get out.
Kind of just looking and
Yeah. But he did it, and I didn't have any major wrecks. And then that was my go-to horse for a couple of years when I worked there. But he ended up being a 1-person horse. Yeah. I was the only one that could catch him, and he still didn't like me. He's always literally, I had him. Technically I still have him, but I can catch him. My wife can't catch him. He doesn't let my kids around him. He just goes to the other side of the pen. He'll run from them. But even when I saddle him, he's sitting there looking at me sideways, snorting, and then I hop on him, and it's all good. Just lines out.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yep.
I had a Palomino. You had to walk in backwards with the saddle inside the corral or pen, wherever, and then saddle her up because she pulled back. You put her on a hitching post, she pulled back. But once you got that saddle and cinched up, best horse you'd ever ride. I did a lot of auction buying. Hey, let's.
I was spoiled. I mean, I've rode lots and lots and lots of horses, but they were always really, really good horses. I mean,
that's something I never got to experience. Is good horses.
Performance horses. I mean, when I was a kid, I broke colts from my dad. I didn't know any different. We had 40 head of brood mares out there, and to me, it was nothing but work. And then later on in life, I started roping again. I calf roped when I was a kid, and I team roped a little bit. But then later on in life, I team roped a lot, and I rode a lot of different horses. I got into it big time.
We're going to give Dylan his 10 minutes of fame tonight.
Dylan, where you been?
Hey,
there he is.
We got so busy the other night, and then you left us. You had to go night-night.
Dylan, I have to apologize, too, because I forgot that you were Axel Miller Outdoors.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It's all right.
I'm old. I got some memory issues.
The next day, Brett says, "Did we talk about that?" I said, "Sure did."
I have to check with Chris. Man, that was a good cigar.
Dylan, any progress? What do we got? Where's our Dylan report?
My friend got me a hunting blind.
You need some light in your face, Dylan. We can't see you, man. We need to see your eyeballs.
Dark blob.
Here, is this better?
No, you're all
No,
black.
that light behind your head is
Oh, that's
putting a
like
shadow on
my
your
main
face.
light for this room. That's the thing.
Oh well.
So about this.
You better go get you a light ring.
Is
Desk
better?
lamp.
That's a little better.
All right.
Tell us a story.
Well, like I said, my friend got me a hunting blind, so I set that up. Then my mom had to take it down because winds were coming in pretty bad.
Oh.
So
Yeah, those will end up in the next county.
No, I lost my wall
Yeah.
temperature.
Oh no.
this was like a pretty expensive blind. So
Oh yeah.
Nice. What are you waiting on now? Season to start? What do you got coming up? Do you know your friend?
I'm waiting from his friend who does hunting courses in person. So
Oh,
waiting
nice.
for that. And today my mom got her first tattoo. So
Oh shoot.
Is it my name?
That
Is it
came
my
out of
name?
nowhere. That came out of nowhere. What does that have to do with a deer blind?
Hey, maybe it's one of our names. Who knows?
no, she got a tattoo of her favorite dog, a bulldog,
That's cool.
on her arm.
Well, it ain't a hound,
That's-
but
That's something I always thought about doing, is getting my good dogs tattooed on me. You know, just
I-
a list of names, or.
I did.
But that's a good list. You know, big list I'd have, because I've had several
Well,
really good dogs.
I'd be one of those guys
have-
that have tattoos all over my head and dogs' names coming down my cheeks. And
yep.
Cat
No,
paws
I got-
crossing your face.
I got to get my main dog was Cece, so I'm gonna get her, and I have Andy, and I have Luke, and those two dogs are out of Cece, and Cece will go right in the middle of them, and then when Dirty dies, I'll have Dirty, because I'm not allowed to get him before he dies.
Speaking of dogs, Chris, these pups are all okay. I mean, they're not.
Oh,
That one, he got sick a little bit for 2 days, but he's fine. Then the lurcher I brought down from Idaho, he's fine. I got one extra pup, and if you can figure out a way to do it, we can auction him off
oh yeah.
and give 100% of the proceeds to that Colorado Cat Fund or whatever they do.
Maybe at the rendezvous.
Yeah, I'll bring him. I got that
Do a
one
little-
that I'd like for you to try. I mean, he's as cool a looking dog as there is. I mean,
Do a
he's-
little a name in the hat kind of deal. That way, it's not a raffle, and a donation gets you maybe every $5 gets you another entry into the hat.
I don't know how to do it. You figure out how to do it.
Well, I just did. We're giving away a dog at the rendezvous. We're giving away a dog from Brett Vaughn.
And the
Every
100%.
$5 gives you another name in the hat.
In the hat.
So
There you go.
we'll use
There you go.
Brett's big old hat. Yep.
I had
And
to
then all that
order
money
it.
will go to Save the Hunt Colorado.
I like
There
it.
you go.
That's good
There
stuff.
we go.
And it put it in the name of Anecdote of a Houndsman and Interview Stories and Tales, donated by both these groups. So
Nice.
it'll work.
That'll work. There
So-
you go.
Here's something I was thinking about just this last week. We need to start getting people put in place, in like biologists and stuff in all the states, right?
Mhm.
That way we're not getting these, left-leaning biologists that are trying to
Like
invade
Oregon's
the-
doing.
I don't know
Make
what's
it-
going on in Oregon.
Well, they were making the leader of the whole clan over there, trying to get somebody who wasn't about, what is it, bullet and what do they call it?
Yeah, hook and bullet or
No.
something like that.
Hook and
What,
bullet, yeah.
But what what are you trying? How would you do? What are you trying to do?
So what I'm thinking is we start a
Like lobbying
Well,
somebody for
no. Even lower than that. Let's start a tuition program.
What? Being a Democrat?
And
Pretty
what?
low.
Chris,
No,
let
let's-
him finish.
let's start a tuition program so that we can
Oh,
get 18-year-olds, and we'll pay their tuition, and they become biologists, and then they, in 4-5 years, whatever it takes them, then they go and start getting jobs in fish and wildlife, game and fish departments, right?
I guess I'm too old to do that now, huh?
Never too old, Brett.
To
No.
go back to school. I want to be a biologist.
Right? My nephew he went to school for biologist, but then he learned that there's girls at wineries, so then he freaking changed to a vintner. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be
that's
cool.
good.
so
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking, right? So if we can find 18-year-old kids, and then they we get a big fund going, and maybe we can start off with one, right? So we pay their tuition to go to, JC, and then something, eventually get their degree in biology, and then we can try getting them into
like
game and fish departments.
A scholarship program.
Exactly, scholarship programs, right?
Okay.
But it would have to be like, everybody applies, they get a do an essay or whatever, and then we all get together and say, all right, yeah, this is the best one. They have the best,
So
plan.
Who do we lose?
Jarrod.
He'll be back.
So how would you raise the funds for something like that?
Well,
You got any ideas?
Through donations, or maybe we could do like,
a GoFundMe, something like that.
Either GoFundMe or, hey, we pick up a horse and then we document riding it, or a mule, and we show how good this mule is, and then it gets auctioned off at Horses, Hounds, and Mules, and then all that, anything that wasn't part of the cost of raising that goes into this fund for paying the tuition.
And and then talk those guys into donating their auction fee too. So
yeah, something like that, right? Or dogs, right? So everybody's got a dog, but it would be a dog that's raised and trained specifically for the auction to go fund this.
That's a good idea. I think that. Yep. I'd have to think. You have to work out all the details on it. Yeah.
Right. So
that would be cool.
Just spitballing here. If we could do something like that, maybe we can start off with one. Maybe it takes us 2-3 years to raise the funds to be able to send one kid to college to get their degree in biology, or at least maybe like, a grant to help them. Maybe we can't pay it all in full, but if we can help them.
A grant. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
That's what we need, is a good grant writer.
Yeah, if we could find someone that's good at writing grants or writing applications for grants, that would be awesome too, right?
Yep.
Maybe we could tie in with Dan Gates, and maybe he's got somebody that's good at, legalese, and we can figure out how to get something going.
Yep.
Sounds cool.
And then we can try, we'll figure out what state's the worst, and we'll start focusing on that, just hammering
I think
them.
we all know that. That's California.
I mean, California, but...
but they might be beyond help.
Everybody don't have faith, but I have faith.
In California?
I think we could do it, but it would take several years of public re-education, right? Throwing out just tons and tons of factual documents.
I've always thought of this for like the other states that everything's kind of gone to hell in. What if you make it by mountain range instead of it's a state ordinance? It's a unit ordinance ran by that biology, like the Fallon department would manage the still waters.
Yeah.
And then, so say, because Northern California, you could have a line hunt tomorrow if you started doing something like that. Tried running a policy through that said hunting ordinances or wildlife ordinances are ran by region, not through the whole state.
I mean, that sounds feasible, but we would have to go state by state, and we'd have to figure out how to get that implemented state by state. So, and that's like a long-term game, right? That's not not something right now we can lobby for. It's just something that we're going to have to start. We're going to have to find a lawyer that can go in and read and figure out how each state's regulations work and how we could implement something like that. Because regional based management that's going to be the best management that you can figure out, or that can be implemented, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like a micro scale instead of a macro scale. So that is how it should be managed, is on the micro scale, meaning, all right, this mountain range has this amount of animals. There are, this amount of predators in it, this amount of prey in it. They're broken down into these different categories, and then implementing either the take or not even non-harvest annually, right?
Well, see, it sounds like you know what you're talking about, so now you're in charge of it.
We just voted. You're on the board.
Although in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry about that. That was my mom.
Everybody thinks California is too gone, but it will come back. Everybody remember,
everything swings, right?
Chris
so you got a
Watson
pendulum.
said,
It may be way left right now, but eventually it's going to start to swing back to the middle or right. It's just how can we speed that, change of direction up?
What year was it? 2018, 2020? They tried taking away the bear hunt completely, and it failed.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's 2018. Yeah. Well, no.
Aren't they working on in California?
It was more recent than that. That was what, like 3 years ago, wasn't it?
That was
it 3 years ago?
Well, I think they're trying to do it again, right?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I haven't heard anything about it, though.
Now they're trying to figure out how to get rid of the bears.
Yeah, well, when you got 86,000 bears in 1/3 of the state, yeah, that's a lot of bears. Like literally, because I work over there, I see bears almost weekly. When it's never been like I've been driving and looked in a meadow and seen 2 bears.
Yeah, my cousin sends me videos all day long.
Yeah, I've seen 3 bears in a day, just literally driving in the morning.
I believe it.
My
buddy lives in Bishop, and he passed up like 4 bears, and he killed this big old black bear, and it was 18 years old, they said.
Yeah, it's common for bears to be in late teens in California.
That is ridiculous.
There's a guy that I pulled up he sent me a VHS tape. This is way back before YouTube or Facebook or anything. We used to be on all these bulletin boards together. And he was an old man. I think I told Chris about him. He was an old solitary bachelor guy. And all he had was a couple Airedales. And he might have had 1 hound, but he lived in California. And he made this video. And then he also has a blog post. He's passed away now, and he doesn't have any family. There was no family or anything. He was a bachelor. And not many people knew about him. And I turned Jason Doobie on, thinking that maybe he could take some of those. The guy was a beautiful writer too. He wrote real good on his blog posts. And then he sent me this video, and you wouldn't believe everything he could catch out there. I mean, such a game rich environment. And he treated everything. Bobcats, he didn't care as long as they climb a tree, bobcats, fox, lions, and he'd use a predator call, and he would call them in, then let those dogs run them and tree them. He had a pretty good deal going. Yeah. And then he also free cast. He'd pack up into some high country somewhere. I don't know California, but he had set up a camp, and he'd stay up there during the summer months when it was hot. And he was a neat old man. He was really fun to talk to. Him and I got to be good friends. And of course, like all of us, he got old.
Yeah, that's hell. It's
just happens.
Nobody gets away from it without getting out of here.
That's right. But I think I tried to get Jason maybe for the Full Cry magazine, kind of as a tribute to this old man. He has, there's no telling how many articles or blog posts or whatever you call it that he had written, in his blogger deal. So it's really cool. Maybe Jason will put him in the Full Cry or his wife, whoever takes care of that. I don't know.
Chris Powell, we were just talking about biologists, placing biologists, getting people to go be biologists. So
yes, I'm looking at the long game on that, right? So if we can start putting competent biologists in there that don't have a anti-hunting or animal rights agenda, and their sole goal is to actually manage that species, then I think that's the way everything should be ran. So, and it's tough, right? So if we could start spreading the word and try to get something going.
Another thing, you're gonna have to put a clause in. Like when my buddy got this nursing, he had nursing school paid for it, 100%. But he had to stay in the state of South Dakota for 10 years after.
Because of where the money came from.
Gotta get their money back.
You don't want to give a kid pay for 6 years of school, and then he's gonna be like, "Well, my dad wants me to take over the landscaping business now." So
you're a minimum of 10 years in this position. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That's all over my head.
Well, the best thing to do is give control back to the states, right? Everybody has we've been so busy fighting to keep it out of the hands of the voters, but we really need to get. And I know I talked to some people in certain organizations that are state, but they say legislature concentrate on the voting thing is stupid. you got to get it written in somewhere.
Exactly.
Got to find your senators or pushers that's going to support it. And you got to get it written in.
Yeah.
So
I 100% agree with that. Get it somewhere written on paper that the state fishing, game, wildlife, Department of Wildlife, whatever it is, are the sole managers of wildlife. Can't go to ballot initiative because then that takes away their ability to manage the wildlife.
Well, that means science don't count. The data don't matter.
Exactly. It's public opinion instead of science.
Well, I mean, if you just read that guy's last comment, though, he just talked like Washington's 80% anti-hunting in the department.
Yeah.
Well, that's so your idea is what the antis are doing now.
Exactly.
They're placing people in, just like Misty said up here.
Instead of just letting people, instead of just letting the cards fall how they lay, let's actively try to put people in those positions that are going to manage wildlife. Or for what's best for the wildlife instead of anti-hunting.
You're gonna it's such a steep up.
Bam, he's gone.
And
someone tried to call him. Someone tried to call him. Look at him. His wife's calling him. You better pick up that milk on your way home.
Yeah, hurry up and get your ass home.
All right,
Dylan, give us your 5-minute report here.
Well, the weather here has been crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dylan, where are you out of?
Maine.
Oh, Maine. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the temperature there, Dylan?
Oh, right now, my laptop says it's 86 out.
Oh, I'm kicking them off right now. Kicking them off.
Bye.
Well, wait, get this. It's been hot outside. There's a little bit humid, and there's no wind.
Bit.
No wind at all.
What's your little bit of humidity? What's your humidity right now? Because
I don't know what it is.
I'm 111. I'm 111. Oh wait, went down to 110 degrees, guys, and I'm at 14% humidity.
I was going to say, what is humidity?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like rain. We don't have that either.
Oh well, right now it's raining outside for me.
Oh jeez.
He's getting kicked off for sure.
Chris has his AC set at 86.
I just got my AC back last week. I didn't have AC for 2 weeks.
Oh, man, at least you got it ready. At least you got it back for this freaking warm spell.
Happy wife, happy life, buddy.
Yeah.
Wife's
you don't want no.
Oh, she's not even home with you.
She left. She left till the AC.
She's like,
on.
You let that thing break. Bye.
Yeah. Well, what's your next move, Dylan? You got your blind. You got your hunting course coming up that you're going to try to take. You need to get a weapon.
Got to have a weapon.
I'm going to use a friend of mine. So.
What does he have?
He has all different types. He says I can use his I believe it's a 300 blackout.
Jeez.
With a suppressor right on it.
Well, what are you hunting?
Wow.
Rabbits.
Wascally rabbits.
Squirrels.
Pretty big squirrels.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yep. There you go. You're on your way.
It's $300-400. You can go down to Walmart and buy a Savage bolt action rifle in a 308. That'd be plenty good for everything up to moose.
Yep.
Get out there. Set that blind up and get out there in the mornings and just watch.
Right? Yeah, just start going out there and just sit there and watch, like Chris is saying. Just see how everything works.
Wait for season. We do have the law watching us here tonight.
Oh yeah,
or at
no,
least
don't
retired law.
I think I saw that.
He probably has contacts in Maine that he could reach out to. And
oh man, where I live, there's hardly any fish cops. So
be careful what you say now.
I got one of them.
You'll get us all in trouble.
I got one of them squealers in my family now, so I got to be careful.
Oh, that's right. Your boys. Is that your oldest boy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to look up. Do you see him? He's got to say, how many? Where did that one fall in?
He's my oldest boy I know about. So
yeah,
I'm telling you.
Well, congratulations. That's pretty awesome. That's very cool.
I guess. He called me when he was in the academy and he said, "Hey, they gave me a ticket book," and I went ahead and just put your name on the first page. I said, you can try. You can try. But many have
I
tried.
even got the address.
Yep. And it's kind of weird having them around the family now. He came around the other day, and me and my oldest son, I got one son on law enforcement side of the fence. I got another son who's not so law enforcement side of the fence. So it's kind of like Hatfield and McCoy's in the house.
So he walks in.
I guess, what's that?
He walks in the room and everybody just goes.
That's what we do.
Everybody just stops talking.
He walks in the room and we're like, I'll talk to you later. So, yeah. It is kind of crazy. It was a long journey for that kid, though.
That's
and they tell you in the academy, they say, hey, you only have 24 weeks of academy. And 24 weeks, that don't sound like much, right? 24 weeks. And I said, that's funny because they don't say 6 months. They don't tell you it's 6 months of academy. They say 24 weeks. And he even said, I thought 24 weeks is nothing. So I realized it was 6 months. So
half a year, yeah.
Yep. And I think there was 6 game and fish people in his group, a bunch of Tucson cops and Nogales cops, and they got the whole thing going on.
Oh, so it's a lumped together course as far as
it's an academy and they put everybody in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, hey, if anybody from Indiana calls you, don't answer the phone. if any undercover agent guys call you from Indiana.
Indiana, that counts as a Yankee, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn
Yankees.
A Yankee fish cop.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool. Well, get out there and scout, Dylan.
Oh,
well, I wish I can go to Walmart and get myself a gun, but I can't.
Why are you why?
I'm poor.
Oh.
I mean,
get a job. Go get a job first.
Yep.
What I mean poor, I mean my mom gets she's on disability, so
start mowing yards. Do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to do that stuff for free. I don't like to charge people.
You got to if you're poor.
Yeah. That's how you get. You got to pay the bills, man.
That's not the other reason either, because of Section 8. Can't have that either.
You know what they say about excuses, don't you? They're like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Yep.
Yeah. There's, I mean, shoot, you can do stuff. I saw a thing on Instagram. A guy's like, this 10-foot 4x4 is worth like $1,600, and with like a $16 freaking 4x4, right? And then he goes into why it's worth $1,600. What does he do? He buys a $200 chop saw, and he cuts them down into like 3/8 thick slices. And then he takes and sands them down, right? And then he stains them, and then he clear coats them, and then he bundles them up in packets of 4, and he sells them as koozies, right? Coasters. So now he's selling 2 inches or less than 2 inches of this 4x4 for $20 a piece.
Yeah.
Online. Same price you paid. Yep.
Right. So he's got 4 coasters selling for $20, and he's got $6 into each setup. All said and done, he's making whatever ends up being $1,600 off of one 16-foot or whatever it was 4x4.
What do they call that? Ingenuity.
Yeah, the moral of the story is you can always find something to make money, even at home.
Exactly, and that's it's trying to get the wheels rolling in the brain. What can I do? What there's suckers around every corner, right?
Yeah,
that's a fact.
There's people that have no skills. So if someone with some skills can produce something that someone with no skills is willing to pay for.
Listen, and also, it's called marketing.
Yeah.
My mom's on disability. I'm trying to get her out of Section 8, just like those little kids down in Mexico
absolutely.
That act like they're blind until you hold up a 20 and they look right at you.
Yeah. So I know a guy that would take Manzanita, right? So he takes Manzanita.
Yeah.
He somehow got a lathe. So he would take Manzanita sticks and he would go and put them on his lathe. Of course, they had to be dry. So he would turn them down, bore them out, and make them those twist pins. And they'd be beautiful, beautiful twist pins. He's paying like $1.50 for the guts. And the wood he's getting himself. All he had was, a pair of freaking loppers and fuel going up to his property to get the sticks. and he's selling each pin for 20-something bucks a piece. Right?
There you go.
You ever see the movie Cocktails with Tom Cruise? Here comes a Tim Brink special.
I don't
think I've ever even heard of that one.
I don't think
Really?
I have either.
He's a bartender.
Okay.
Tom Cruise. It's kind of a. Everybody wanted to be a bartender after it, just like everybody wanted to paint horse after a Hill Doggo. Everybody wanted a Dalmatian after 101 Dalmatians.
Have you really looked into that Hill Doggo?
There's 7 different horses on it. Did you know that?
And there's a lot of criticism about that too.
About the true story of it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's no different than the movie.
Gonna be people criticizing.
Yeah, there's no different than the movie 8 Seconds. You know,
the people that can't will always criticize.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's true, but there's some other things from people who can that know. I shouldn't have opened my mouth because I don't know the story. I just remember one time. I remember one time I read about it and I thought, man, that sucks because I liked it. So
the whole premises of the story is fantastic, right? But and it is a true story. You know, maybe there's some details that they didn't get right, but the idea of the story is there.
I know, but let me see what.
Yeah,
there was something it's
just like the movie 8 Seconds. You know, the family came out and said, "No, they never cheated with the roper." Then I'm like,
exactly,
barrel racer. Yeah, okay.
Barrel racers are crazy women.
You know how them barrel racers are.
I'm married to one of them barrel racers. I know they're crazy.
They're not all there. So.
They're like women up here in Maine. They're crazy too.
I don't think it's just Maine, Dylan.
No, that's a worldwide pandemic right there.
There you go.
But
the guy with the hard end of the shoelace is also Dylan. Well, Dylan, get out there and scout. Then we'll check in with you next week.
Yeah, good luck, Dylan.
I will when it's nice and cooler outside.
There you go.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Just remember, your the outcome is based off of the amount of effort you put into it. So the more effort you put into it, the better your outcome's going to be.
Got to put in the get out.
Put in the work.
There you go. That is
nice
the perfect.
have, though.
That's the perfect one to hunt. No kids, no wife, can go as long as he wants.
That was me.
Get out there and scout, Dylan. Get out there and scout.
Yep.
All right, we'll get you on next week. Okay.
Good luck, buddy.
I do have one question.
What's that?
Can I consider you guys as my friends?
Well, of course.
I don't know if you want. We're like the most wayward bunch of friends. You better think about. You better sleep on this one.
Oh, trust me, I have.
We're your friends.
All right.
Just don't tell anybody that you know us.
Yeah.
It may not be good for you, is what he's saying.
Yep. All right, Dylan.
Yep. I'll see you guys some other time.
Later.
We'll
Bye,
see
buddy.
you. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Long Riders Guild that. See, and I pay attention to what the Long Riders say. They're the ones who criticized Hidalgo.
Oh,
but
$20 street gun.
Jeremy Flaw is supposed to come on tonight, and I think he's scared of us. I think it's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the beards. He's afraid of those beards.
Is that what it is? And it's no snow hunting. You can't snow hunt. Yeah. I mean, we're only going to make fun of you for a little bit.
I snow hunted. It sucks.
We all snow. We'll all snow hunt.
I'll snow hunt if it's there, but it sucks.
Will I drive 6 hours to run in 3 foot of snow? No,
hell no.
I'll stay down in this dirty desert.
Yeah, after I broke so much stuff because I try to hunt it like I do dry ground. I break my truck too many times.
I don't think you realize how much pressure that snow puts on your truck.
It is ridiculous.
Go walk in it, and when your quads are cramping, your calves are cramping, your tie rod ends will be cramping, your drive shafts will be cramping.
The hardest lion hunts I've ever had were in the snow.
Yeah, the best lion hunts I've ever had were in the snow.
Especially in Nevada, because it's 24/7, and my knuckleheads just like, hey, we can hunt them in the dark. They're still trailing. Let's go.
Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I do. That was my second worst one. I ended up airing down the tires, and then I was able to drive out when the ground was froze up again at like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, he was waiting on it to freeze so he could leave.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it was just a freaking sloppy, snotty mess.
Especially,
come on, Jeremiah.
Even up in whatchamacallit, up in Chris's country, dude, you have clay up there.
Yeah.
Clay sucks so bad.
Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, that'll put another 300 pounds on each tire just driving around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you get those ruts, once they get those ruts going, there's no coming out of those ruts.
No getting out of that.
You could turn sideways, have chains on. It don't matter.
Yep.
You're going in the ruts.
And it's not like that snow stays very long, maybe 2 days, and then the roads start thawing out and everything just goes to heck.
Mud.
Oh, shoot. I mean, I know Jarrod knows it, but you can have a snowbank over here. It goes to the middle of the road, and this side of the outside of the road over here is powder dry, but this side of the road is just frozen snowbank.
Yep.
We get those drifts on some of those high roads. So you come around a corner and you've been going all day, and you don't want to turn around or you can't turn around, and those drifts will send you right down off the little canyon, right in the hole. That's
exactly what got me that Tim was talking about. I come around the corner and I'm like, I can't turn around. I'm just going to go for it. I get going, and that snowdrift extended off the side of the road, and that's where I went. Just slid down.
There you go, Brett.
What I missed? I got sidetracked.
Question for you. Have you ever heard of a roper from Washington by the name of Bill Mers?
No, I can't say I have. Who did I know from up in that country? I don't know. I mean, I used to know some guys from up in the, what do you call that? The Northwest.
Pacific
Brett,
Northwest.
did you ever rope at Fred's Arena in Tucson?
Yeah, I worked in Tucson there. I rented a little place there on Sandero Road. I worked there for about 6 months, 7 months. I don't know the names of the arenas, but I roped at several of those arenas.
It was a bar and an arena attached. He had this little bar. Well, it's not a little bar.
Pretty cool.
I like it. Fred just died about 2 years ago and they quit the ropings, but they're going to bring him back again in October. But it was down off, I don't know if you remember Cerrito Mountain Road.
There was a place, I can't remember. I mean, it's been quite a few years ago that I did that. I'm trying to think. There was a boy there, but I think it was a Hispanic family who ran it.
On Cerrito Mountain?
I can't remember. Remember.
There's another one off Cerrito Mountain, and he has ropings like every Wednesday and Friday or Saturday night. I can't remember his name, but
I roped with that boy, and the boy went on to get pretty good.
Oh shoot!
But I can't remember their name. It was a long time ago, and I didn't really like the area a lot. I didn't like the job because we had the contract with the city of Tucson, and we were brother-in-law a little bit, and I ended up just packing up and leaving after. But we were there for about 6 months, I guess, something like that. Maybe.
Was it?
I roped Yeah, and we'd work. We'd go. We go to work in the morning, right at daylight, and work till like 1:30 or 2, and then that's when I got to watching the Bruce Kennedy videos, because Bruce Kennedy was there, and I went by and visited with Bruce, and I bought those Warriors of El Gato, and then I had a fifth wheel camper there, and I'd plug them in, I'd watch them, and I'd sleep until about right before dark, and then I'd go saddle a couple horses. I had me a little pin there, and I saddled a couple horses, and I had my good horse there too, but I was riding a young horse also, and I'd go. There was like 3 arenas right there next to me, and I would ride up and rope with those guys.
There you go.
I always rode my young horse, and I just lope circles on my good horse and just keep him legged up.
Yeah.
My young horse we're just training, and I heeled, of course, and they'd turn me a steer and I'd track across the pen. I wasn't really concerned about catching or anything. I just wanted to make my horse correct. And finally they came up to me one night and they said, and I was a number 8 heeler at that time. And guys come up to me and said, we're going to have a little round robin here, $100 a man. If you want to get in, you're welcome to, but we don't have any numbers here or anything. It's just like an open. I said, all right. So I got on my good horse and I won first, second, and third. And they didn't have any more round robins after that.
Oh,
but it was fun. I enjoyed that part of it. People were really good. The ropers there, I got along with them real well. They were nice guys. And just the city, I didn't get along with very well.
Yeah. I don't like. I do asphalt for the city. Well, we contract through the city and stuff, and they're a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Well, what they did is they hired. It was a different kind of contract. They had like 3. They hired 3 contractors. We had a cathodic protection corrosion control company, and they hired us and 2 other ones. Well, the other 2 were local, and I was from New Mexico, but I had my Arizona contractor's license, and they were, looking back on it now, I realize that they were in with the city. So, for instance, they would spec a certain kind of rectifier for a job, and they'd let these jobs out, and there was only 3 of us that could bid on them, and we'd give prices, and they'd spec a certain kind of rectifier. Well, I called to get a price on the rectifier, and my price for the rectifier was the same price they were bidding the job for. In other words, they were in with the supplier too to try to keep me out. And it'd be like I would get a price from the supplier for $5,000, and then that's what I would put my profit margin on top of it and turn it in. And their price to the city was $5,000. They were it was
bummer.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
Yeah. You guys got to be nice to Jeremy. No picking on him. All right.
Hey, you're already calling me Jeremy.
Or Jeremiah.
Jeremiah.
My gosh.
How you guys doing?
Look at that. He fits right in. Look at that hair.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a beard.
Got a lot on the back of your head, too.
Well, I ain't cutting no hair until Biden's out of office. I haven't touched it since he got in.
Might be soon, hopefully.
Then you can afford a haircut.
Yeah.
Right?
No kidding. Everything's
what do we got,
going
90 days for the election?
What's
I don't
that?
know. I know. They're trying to. The Democrats are kind of pushing them out a little bit, just from what I've been watching.
Yeah, I'm betting it's going to be a Harris Newsom thing.
It's going to be Michael. They're going to run Michael.
Oh,
Michelle. Sorry, Michelle.
Big Mike doesn't want anything to do with it. It's going to be a Harris Newsom.
God
Harris
help
is going to be the president.
Late in the game, but I just watched the thing where they said that Trump's, and this is from a Democrat on CNN, that Trump is pretty much aligning to win, because there's a lot of states that are not. They're not teeter-tottering. They're all going back to red. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's that whole pendulum thing. It's back to the right. Hopefully we can just grab a hold of that sucker and just hold it off.
Hold it for a while.
Too big to cheat. I hope.
Fix everything that they've screwed up.
They had a thing out, this kind of like child behaviorist specialist on, I don't know if it was CNN or Fox or whatever. I was watching it on YouTube. And he said the rebel children now are all going far right.
I like the sound of that.
They're all going back to Christianity.
I like the libertarian aspect of that,
I'm a libertarian myself.
And they're just all going, Christianity. They're sick of, they probably grew up in mom and dad and whatever and liberal parents or whatever, and they're just sick of it. And so they're rebelling against that and going back the other way.
Man, I really hope that's spot on. I hope it's accurate. That
compared to 20 years ago, you were rebellious if you had blue hair and tattoos.
Yeah.
Well, and the mainstream media, they're dying. I mean, they can't control the narrative anymore because we have so many other places to get our information from.
And not only that, you can compare them, right? So when they're all saying the same exact thing verbatim,
exactly,
and they're all reporting literally nationwide verbatim,
the talking points,
same talking points. It's all corrupt because none of them are doing any journalistic research, right?
They're just doing what they're told.
They're regurgitating what they're told.
Yep.
You guys ever hear them played over each other? It's so creepy.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly.
When they do those little sound bites of all of them saying the exact same thing.
That is crazy.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's bad.
Guys, I hate to bug out, but I gotta go.
Sounds good.
Good talk.
I gotta go make some pemmican.
Hey, tell us how it turns out.
I will. Yeah. I'll bring some on next time, so you can see how bad my face looks after I take a bite of it. Okay, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brett.
Night.
Hasta luego.
Jeremiah.
You want to hear about it?
Yeah, tell us all about it, man.
It's all about you now.
I just want to get my disclaimer out there. I'm only in this for 6 years and only have 7 hounds, so I'm only halfway there.
Hey, you and me are right there. If it wasn't for Jarrod, I'd still be walking roads.
Yeah. Our conditions are really variable, and I hunt in Colorado and New Mexico. I'm fortunate to be able to jump across and hunt New Mexico because our season gets pretty short. if the snow's right. But the other thing about hunting here is the roads are only open for 1 month. So even if it is snowing, you only get a month of snow hunting from the truck. And then it's snowmobiles and cutting on snowmobiles in the dark, -15 to -30 before you start moving. So I just want to throw some of that in there. I'm
where you at?
I'm in Pagosa Springs, Colorado.
Okay.
So east of Durango.
Okay.
It's pretty good for cat hunting, especially with the New Mexico season being all year. I can go run my dogs literally every week. If I get a little clouds, I'm still running. I think I had one jump last week on the 3rd and lost him in the rocks. My dogs are just not very savvy in these cliffs at all.
It takes time for that. I noticed.
Snow hunting, that's the whole nother game here in Colorado. Once the roads close and you're hauling machines and then driving machines and then pulling dogs behind machines, which is the last thing those machines are made for.
Yeah.
It gets to be a nightmare with all the, we got 6 junker sleds sitting in the yard ready to run at the beginning of the season, and we're lucky if they're all running at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But we run on a quota depending on the snow and how many outfitters or how many hunters the outfitters have. That's just a nonstop competition. When the roads are open, we're literally driving from 10 o'clock till sun up, camping on a track if we find one, doing it just night after night. But then we do the same thing on the snowmobiles, and it's pretty miserable. In New Mexico, you got the well roads, and you can drive all night. I'm getting real fond of New Mexico. If this Colorado thing goes south, I'll go back to where I was born over here in Chama, and it won't be bad at all.
Oh, you're from New Mexico?
I was born in Chama, yeah.
Gotcha.
In New Mexico. It's real nice there too. Less crowded. Californians are taking over this town. It's the new steamboat. It's getting pretty depressing around here.
That's why'd you move to Colorado?
My parents moved us here in the 90s because of construction. It was just like a construction boom in this town and not in Chama. And we moved our business here. We sell stoves and install chimneys and stuff like that. And it was a real nice town, but in the last 10 years, and especially since COVID, it's just insane. It feels like a resort.
COVID ruined everything.
It really did. The woods are full of face masks and diapers, and just people treat the place like an amusement park. Nightmare.
It's people who don't know how to be out in the woods. They got forced out in the woods.
Yeah.
100%.
I was waiting for COVID to end and like all the side-by-sides and campers to just like, everyone's like, all right, bars are back open. We'll stay in town. I was waiting for everything to go cheap after that.
Well, what happened is they spent all that money on
all the side-by-sides and stuff, campers.
Yeah,
they spent all the money on
like a giant influx, and everyone like, you know what? I don't want that payment anymore. Getting rid of it.
No,
that never happened.
Still waiting on that.
They have that payment. They have that payment, so they got to use it until most of these people buy these. It drives me crazy when people go camping in $100,000 3 tilt out, 3 axle, 1,200 square foot trailer. I'm like, why leave your house?
Right.
Like, you can watch TV
you
and get
can't
that
get
same
anywhere worth being with that thing, right? You have to stay within
main road,
the pavement, or maintained gravel road.
Yes.
Yeah. Open, not just like you can't have a tree on the side of that road.
Exactly.
That camper.
What do you
actually, when I was living in southern Arizona in the Patagonias, where me and Chris and everyone were camped, that used to be like all super overgrown, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was camped out there for a month just in my bedroom, me and my wife, and at 10 o'clock at night the dogs start blowing up, and like I see headlights driving up the road, and I'm like, well, that sucks. And this dude in one of those giant like live-in van type of deals,
Mercedes, the $120,000 Mercedes Sprinter.
Yeah.
Mercedes.
And
Frickin'
you hear him
morons.
just beating brush coming down. And I was like, hey, dude, I'll help you get turned around so you can head out. And he's like, no, I got a backup camera. I'm fine. Well, they're smooth in the front, nose facing down. They're a brick in the back.
Flat.
Oh, man, he lost everything on top of that thing.
Can you guys hear that rain? Am I making a bunch of noise yet? I might get rained out.
I don't hear
No,
nothing.
you're solid.
Brett just sent me a picture of it raining. Look what I just got. It just got delivered.
Oh,
There you
you're
go.
Ledged out.
Yeah, it just got delivered right now
Awesome.
up there at my mom's house. Someone had to sign for it. So I think I might. I don't know if I'm gonna wait till the rendezvous and open it and just kind of pass out shots.
Man, I wish I could come. I really want to come, but my vacation. I have to.
Yeah, you're gonna
I
have to
bid
up
a year out for my vacation. So
Yeah.
So
you're gonna
fall
have to.
in October, I'll bid for my vacation of 2025.
That's crazy.
So
You're gonna have to up your OnlyFans page game there.
I'm gonna go to the peanut butter on the toes.
Yeah, let it one of your dogs lick it off and they'll buy it. There you go.
You know, I've heard of worse things.
Jeremiah said, "Shit, man, why am I here? Why am I here?"
No,
Sorry, guys, it's raining. I gotta go.
It's gonna get so loud when it cuts loose because I'm out here on the porch under the tin roof. But
I don't hear. What do you got? An iPhone?
No, Android.
That probably has noise cancellation because I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing.
Person. He has an Android.
Yeah, I got hound dogs running around my knees here.
I got one right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
good place for him.
What are you hunting over there?
Just cats with the dogs, anyways.
Yeah.
My old lady's got a lion or an antelope tag here coming up in a month.
Nice.
And then we're gonna try to get some elk in the freezer, but
heck yeah.
I'm pretty hooked on this lion hunting stuff. I have a hard time walking away from the dogs and going and doing anything else.
Yeah, that makes it tough.
Yeah,
When you're paying to feed something, and then you got to let it sit when you know you can be out hunting it.
Well, even in the summer for 3 months, you're like, oh, dang. You know, I just got an elk 2 weeks ago. So
that's crazy.
Did you? Congrats.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, it was an eater, and that's all it was for.
That's all they're good for.
It was a
I-
bull. It was
I
a
don't
bull. Not a full
I don't
bull.
care if their horns are
Bull
that long.
Yeah, it was a good hunt. It's kind of a crazy hunt. I'll do a video about it. I got a video going to come out about it. It'll be on my feral family because me and my daughter. Kind of a cool. Because I hunt the
forgot
golf
about
course.
that. You need to subscribe.
Yeah, the hound. Nobody you're limited at a hound. So I just uploaded the one where we're working on the bus, but me and Cody, my daughter, my middle child, the one no one likes, we went out and I seen some elk coming off the golf course, and I went in and we found some tracks, and they might have been playing golf with Trump. That's what Rowdy, Chris's bull, was playing golf. But it come off the golf course, I seen him, and I thought I seen a spike. It was a 2-year-old. Wasn't a spike, but it was 2-year-old.
I don't care if it's a year old. If
Yeah,
it's illegal.
it's a
animal,
depredation
I'm
hunt.
it,
But I had my black powder. We go find they come over a dam. I find the tracks. I told my daughter, I'm just gonna walk them out. She has my location on my phone, so she just watched where I was, and she went around the sewer ponds and just kind of watched where I was going. And I was just walking. I didn't bring my GoPro. I brought 2 muzzle loaders, one with a scope, one without a scope. I grabbed the one with the scope. I left my vest. I have a vest that has all my black powder in it. I left it at home. But I had my pistol. I had my pistol, and it's a ham hunt. So it's handgun, archery, muzzle loader. Right?
Okay. I've
So
heard
I'm
of
good
those.
to go. So I'm legal. I got my 45 Glock. I wanted my 10, but I just had my Glock on me. I'm walking through 30 yards away. I bump. Probably 20 yards. I'm just walking, checking track, and I look up, and there's a cow grazing 20 yards. I do the whole freeze thing, kind of slide it sideways into a cedar, and I can hear him walk off, not run, just walk. So I kept following tracks, and then I got up again. He was probably 15, 20 yards, and I seen him coming through the cedars. So I had my scope looking through the cedars, there I seen velvet. It's all I needed to see. I didn't care if it was a 380 or an 80 or an 8,
Yeah, say I don't care if it's an 8 or 800.
Yep.
Legal's legal for me.
Yeah, he come through those cedars and pow, smoke. I was in a lane, smoke everywhere. They all stood around. I seen them like buckle jump, and they all took off. So I called my daughter and said, well, I got blood, because there's a lot of blood. And man, tracking out, and there was 1,000 tiny little red rocks everywhere. Little pebbles.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible.
And
it was on
red
Malapai.
chert or something like that?
What's that?
Is it chert or something like that?
No, it's just probably a jasper or something, but just a tiny
jasper.
itty bitty, and it's on Malapai, so it's already black.
Okay.
But it took us an hour to straighten out I seen where it laid down, so we knew that was him.
You should have brought Dirty. He'd found it in 10 minutes for you.
Well, Yucky would probably found it. I didn't have Stinker with me. It would have been nice to see.
Oh, Stinker would have been perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it takes us a while to trail out, and just finding blood barely. I'm like, man, I hope I didn't brisket him. We're walking through, and she's filming, and I say, Cody, like I whisper, Cody, and she drops to the ground, and I don't have. She didn't bring the other black powder. That's all I had is my pistol. And I pulled my pistol and shot over her. She was like under me. And I shot him with my 45, and it went over, laid down in a tree, and that was it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Heck
So I got a bunch of hamburger and a bunch of roast, and I just made some tamales Saturday out of them. Oh,
I need to learn how to do tamales because I love tamales.
I'm going to tell you
love
what.
them.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I go buy the pre-mix Mazda. I put in so the secret to me, and I've given my tamales to Mexicans. I'm talking true blue refugees to keep it nice, and they love them. But I flavor I cook my roast, and I dump all that juice out of that roast, and it's full of green chili, everything into my Mazda when I mix my Mazda.
Okay. No, heck yeah.
Yeah. So I got
Instead
a lot of times
water, you do the juices. Yep. Heck yeah.
So when you buy because you're just supposed to use like chicken broth but I just pile and stuff in it.
I
like I have stock, man. Yeah, I have a secret ingredient, white boy secret ingredient, but no, they came out good this time. They got a little bit of bite to them, but not so bad that you can't eat them. Yeah. I love making tamales, and I make about 60 at a time. I got one big pot, and a 4-pound bag will make about 60, and a 6. I had a 6-pound roast. Will give you, and I had a lot of roast. I had a 6.5-pound, 7-pound roast. So I was piling the meat in it. They're piled full of meat. You know how they got, sometimes you buy them on the side of the road.
It's a little piece of meat like that big in the middle with half inch of corn around it.
And then the Mazda usually don't have no flavor to it.
Yeah, it's all bland and just grainy.
Not me. I pile it in there. So,
heck yeah. No, I came from California, man. California's little Mexico. So they have quality Mexican food. Quality Mexican food. And I love some good tamales. That's like what they call street tacos, right? It's tamales and tacos are where it's at.
That's kind of what I made Jarrod down there.
Yeah.
Out of 10-year-old bear meat. So no one died, right, Jarrod?
No one died.
They were good. So
I ate them.
I'm gonna go get another drink. I'll be back.
All right. What do you do, Jeremiah? What do you do over there? You work or?
Oh, I have to work. Yeah. I install chimneys and clean.
Oh,
chimneys.
you're still doing that?
No, yeah.
Good deal.
Pretty good money, but people are hard to put up with these days.
Oh man, I got a job right now. The owners, I think I got banned from talking from him. He has to deal with project manager now. But so are you guys living off grid over there? Or?
No, I'm just outskirts of town in a little redneck subdivision.
Oh,
kind of the poor side of town, I guess you'd call it.
The other side of the tracks.
That's all right. Poor side neighbors don't call your dogs in for barking.
No city water, most people haul water out here, but I bought a lot with a well on it, so I
nice.
Have to haul water in as long as it's running underground. And it's
you got power over there?
What's that?
You got power?
Yeah, we got power.
Man, power and water is where it is. That makes it comfortable. I don't mind living off grid, but I have a big shop, so you have to have that power.
Yeah, to get stuff done, you really have to have it.
Yep.
That or you don't get much done.
Maybe I'm just a puss. I don't know.
So. We have a cabin up over by Silverton, Colorado that is off grid, and actually 2 of them that are totally off grid, but
Nice.
you got to be careful, especially when we're up there in the winter and it's cloudy for days. You
Yeah.
gotta
Oh, solar.
barely use it, just for the, necessities only.
Yeah.
You got to kind of learn to live different when you're on that setup.
Yeah. My buddy, he owns a ranch in Nevada. When I lived there, we'd go lion hunting. I'd go live with him lion hunting in the winter. And if we wanted to watch TV or charge our cell phones, we had to run into town and go get gas to go run the generator.
Yeah, there's a lot of my neighbors that, they buy a lot, put a camper on it and run a generator and haul water. And that's a rough way to do it. And they have the option, but they still just, tweaker shacks. My dogs bay up more tweakers walking down the road than they do lions.
Hey, sound like my place.
I think if you can live off grid, you're going to be a step ahead of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about selling out everything and finding me a 40 acre somewhere and just off grid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the dream of mine. Buy 20 acres, 40 acres somewhere, like a good spring on it with a creek nearby or whatever. Yeah. Something that I can run like it'd be really cool to have like a river right there so you can run a paddle wheel that runs a generator and then you've always got power living off the grid kind of thing.
Yep.
We did that at our mountain cabin, got a creek. So we put a pipe in with a hydronic propeller and it never stops turning.
Exactly. Something like that would be, that's where it's at.
Dream home.
Yeah.
Everybody else wants that white picket fence or that $120,000 camper trailer. And I'll take
not this.
I'll take a container. Give me a container,
A shipping container, 4 2 wide, 2 tall.
Yep.
With a covered porch or a barn dominium.
My on a bedroll.
Yeah.
I'm preparing to go to a cave.
That's my retirement goals.
Oh, a cave. If I could find me a good cave, I'd be in it.
It'd be cool to have a house dug into the side of the side of a hill, Never have to worry about heating or cooling. It's always 60 degrees.
Carve it right into one of these rim rocks over here in New Mexico.
Right?
That's what I'm looking for. Just cheap land with a rim rock, and we could just start hydro cutting it with a high pressure sprayer, probably.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that would be probably the fastest and easiest.
Yeah. My cousin has property off the I-40 over by Seligman, and it's full of rock, and there's a stream that runs right through it. There's lion over in Seligman area.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about 20 miles out of Kingman. He said if I build a road into there, he'll give me 5 acres. So
it sounds like a deal to me.
It's tough, but I said, why build a road in there? I said we need to come off the freeway because it's on an overpass,
parking lot,
or it's it's under a bridge almost on the freeway. I said just build a parking lot there in the bottom and have a trail that goes. It's only going to be 100 yards.
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
No, and you could take a side by side down in the creek, come up it, dam it up.
Dude, I'd go.
I've seen bear tracks.
I'd buy a backhoe and fix that.
Well, that's what I said. They wanted to get a dozer, but it's real steep. I said, listen, you get a excavator and just start backing in and just dig, just keep digging the mountain out.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be done. So, but one of these days I'll get over there and do it. But the only problem, it's off of I-40, but you can't. There's no road. I built a gate into it that you don't know is there.
I like that. I like not knowing it's there.
Yeah, you have to go to the overpass, turn around, come back, and then go through that gate, and then you can park under the bridge on I-40, and no one will ever see your truck there. So kind of neat.
My style. I like that.
Yep, good lion country. Good lion country. So
that unit closed this year too over by Seligman, didn't it?
For lion?
Yeah.
Really? Maybe.
I think so.
Thought they had like 20 something lions over there. Is it 14?
I don't know. We closed
those zones. Yeah. Huh.
In March. This is the first year my unit's ever been closed.
I wonder why.
Does that do that?
Got a lot of people. Got a lot of people down there hunting or what?
Yeah, well, we had like 4 shots of snow at the end of January, beginning of February, and I didn't go out. But man, my buddy that lives down on the border went out, and he's like, I just saw 7 different trucks drive by. He's like, I just went home.
Dog boxes?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh. What kind of drama you got over there, Jeremiah, with all the houndsmen?
Oh, outfitters. you know, and there's about 4 different, I guess you call us groups or cliques of guys that hunt together, and we're always out there cutting the same roads and the same tracks and pulling shenanigans, you know.
Yeah.
Stomping out tracks and making fake stomp outs is my favorite. Sometimes I'll make
I was gonna
fake,
say every
fake
stomp out
shit
I see, I
pile.
walk out 100 yards.
Yep. Exactly.
If I find a good track in the snow, I will walk it out, but then I'll take my brown camo paint and some toilet paper and make a nice brown smear on
Nutella.
that and throw it 4 feet off the road so they can see it from the truck and they won't even hit the brakes.
Every
Nutella.
coyote track you walk out.
Yep.
My buddy, what he does, he's got a yellow lab, and he'll hit an old lion track that's a day or two old, and he'll throw a tennis ball down that lion track. It makes it look like someone cut dogs loose on it.
I like it.
Funny.
I'll
Yeah.
have to do that one. I always keep them guessing. I think that's half the fun is fucking with those guys because they took, you know, I think it's still the world record Tom out of here. And that's the big selling point for the outfitters. And they get a lot of guys out cutting for them. I don't know how many of them are legally working for them. I'm not going to say because they might hear this podcast someday.
I bet you the next world record is going to come from Nevada. You know why? Because California.
Oh,
yeah.
So
right on that border.
Yeah, I bet you it's going to be somewhere around Reno, Carson City, because the number of lions, mature lions that are getting taken right there right now because of the winter range, right? So all the deer that come out of like the Truckee, Tahoe area, they come down around Carson City, and that's in the winter. It gets hammered by all the guys that are the weekend hunters, and they only hunt the snow, and it's that area right there. And there's a couple.
1 through 5 for lions is taken out of Washoe County.
Our big cats, the big toms, they all come out of the res.
Number 1 through 5 for the state of Nevada is all came out of Washoe County by Sean Shea.
Yeah, like the Virginia range right there, that it gets hammered too. It's just they only drive where they can drive. They only hunt where they can drive. Nobody gets off the roads. So
well, you got Jack Spencer. He lives in Reno. He's a hunt. You won't see him post lions really on social media. But he's a hunting son.
That guy and Sean Shea are probably the 2 guys out of Nevada that need to be on a podcast because they've got the highest number of record book toms taken in the state. I think
Sean Shea has 1 through 5, I think, or ties with 1 through 5.
Yeah, Sean Shea, and I don't even know if he has social media. I couldn't tell you what the dude looks like.
He bought leashes from me back when I used to make leashes, but I want to say he's got a little guide business.
Does he? I know absolutely nothing other than I've seen his name in the record book, and he's got a lot of names in the record book.
Yeah, his daughter's got the biggest bear in the state. Or she did.
You need to have. You still talk to him?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in probably 6 years.
Oh, get him on. Give him a call. See if he wants to come on.
It'd be cool to have him on because, I'd like to pick his brain because the dude obviously knows his stuff, and he's just one of those guys that Sean Shea.
Oh.
Yep.
Still got his number, Jarrod?
No.
I'll ask around if you want. I'll start hitting up people.
He's got.
I bet the private investigator could find that number.
I probably could. Probably could. If I know his name, I'm good to go.
Yep.
So,
but if you want to talk about Nevada, Unit 011.
Yeah, way up north.
Way up north by the Oregon-California border. I mean, you can't hunt the Sheldon, but you got everything around the Sheldon there, or it butts up to Oregon and California, and there are so many lions coming out of there. No one hunts it though, because you break down up there.
It's remote.
You're broke down.
Reno's 4.5 hours south.
Yeah. The closest town would be is it Cedar Springs, Cedarville, I think.
Yeah, you have Adel on the very top end of the unit. That's 20 miles away.
Okay, I used to go
I used to go get fuel there when I hunted it, but it was just a gas station in that town. It was a gas station restaurant. If you needed anything else, you had to go to Lakeview, Oregon, which is like another 30 miles.
Yeah. And then you got out, probably the next after that would be what, Alturas?
Yeah. I mean, there ain't not, if you break down out there, especially if you're in the middle of the unit and down towards the southern end.
Yeah.
I camped down there for a week and a half, and I saw one truck drive by, and it was a rancher making sure I wasn't dead.
I like that, though.
When you go in to stay
area
for a couple weeks.
Yeah. And
they take you a 50-gallon drum of fuel.
Oh, yeah, you have to. I mean, and make sure you have an inReach or something, because there's no phone service up there.
Yep.
Yeah,
because there's no reason for them to have cell towers. There's nobody there.
No one's there. It's
I
kind of
like
like Pod Dallas country, but on the west side of the state.
Yeah.
That's where you need to be hunting and staying. Can you walk it?
Easy.
Is it more walking, or can you ride it?
You can ride it. Oh, horseback would be easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
You just got to bring 100 gallons of fuel.
Yeah. So
and probably 150 gallons of water.
Yeah. What I used to do, there's a big old long rim up there, and the rim was 10 miles long, and the rim wasn't far from the road. It was about 2 miles from the road. My wife would take the one road that took you up on top of the rim. She'd dump me off up there with the dogs, and then she'd drive down the road to the end of the rim, and I'd hike that down, and then I'd jump off the rim and come straight down to the road, which you had to walk a little bit in the valley to get to it, main road, but either I caught something or I didn't get on anything that day. That's about how it went. Because it's northern Nevada, so it's kind of like not a lot of trees, more bluffs, nasty looking country. But either you're going to catch one in those bluffs real quick, or there was nothing in that rim that day.
Is there a lot of roads or no?
Not really. I mean, there's some, but nothing crazy. I mean, if you cut loose on a road, it could be like, well, this is the only spot where I'm at. Now I'm on foot. It's not like you can go drive down a couple canyons over and take a cut across road or anything. It's not like that.
You got to work for it.
Yeah.
How's that country over by you, Jeremiah?
Pagosa, we're in the foothills, and it goes up pretty quick from here to the wilderness. So we hunt all the access roads to the wilderness, but it's kind of like there's roads to each basin, but there's hardly any roads that cut across. And they're pretty limited. We probably got about 6 forest roads that are open during lion season.
Yeah.
That everybody's trying to cut at the same time. Makes it pretty interesting.
Oh, I bet. All the heroes come out when it snows.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not far into it, but I'm already fond of hunting out there in the BLM in New Mexico, where there's just nobody there. There's no snow, and usually nobody hunts when it's muddy there. They're afraid of the mud, but my Tacoma gets around all right.
That mud's just as dangerous as that snow, if not more. Especially where I'm at, because you could have about a quarter inch of that clay wet, and you can't go nowhere. You're stuck. Slippery.
That nasty mud like that. There's a tire, and I'd have to look it up again. When I was guiding in Colorado in the early 2000s, my outfitter, he ran a tire. It was only like 8 inches wide, but it looked like a super swamper with continuous zigzagging lines. It's called something like a buckshot or something.
Yeah.
That was the best tire I think I've ever seen in the sloppy mud, right? Like, so something like that's going to be clay. That thing would just, because it was so narrow, it would just stick in the mud, and it would go. And we had a late 70s, what you call a dent side 4-door Ford pickup, right? And it had a flatbed on it, and it was a short bed, and that thing would go everywhere. And it didn't have, it was just I think it had like a 4-speed in it with a granny low, right? And we would just put it in either granny low or first gear, and it would just drive up every single road, because those narrow tires, they would just stick in that mud, and the tread on it would clean out really nice. So, but that same tire sucked in the snow.
Better for hunting. I like skinny
tire for that clay works great, but once you hit the snow, it was sucked. They were horrible in the snow and ice.
Even with chains?
Well, chains is all the difference, right? So that's
Yeah.
completely
Chains
different
the
animal. Whenever,
equalizer.
yeah, chains they turn a bold tire into a snow tire.
Yeah, if you put them on in time.
Yeah. If you
Before you hit
remember
the
them
snow,
when they're long enough.
And
No
so,
one
and
ever.
I'm the kind of guy that I don't run regular chains. I run semi chains. I
That's
cut
what
them
I
down
have.
to length, and then I run them on my mud tires.
That's what I do. And I even got
Yeah.
the fancy little band instead of bungee cords. I got a
Oh.
cool semi band. It's a big old rubber piece that has the hooks on it. Makes
I don't even
all the
run that.
difference.
So I run the ones that have the cam in it.
The
So I
cam.
put it on there, and I get that sucker to the point where like I
No,
can
that-
barely get it hooked.
Yeah.
And then I'll take, and it's got like 4 cams on it, and I
Yep.
put that bit in there, and I just lock that sucker down, and they don't go anywhere.
Now I'm talking about you don't put bungee cords or nothing on
No.
them.
Yeah, no bungee cords.
Oh, I put bungee
use
cords. I got a ring in the
trampoline
middle.
springs.
What is it?
I grab every trampoline
yeah.
spring I can come across,
Oh.
and you
I've
can hook them
heard that
together,
too.
and you can make any chain stay on, even if it's not
That's a
hooked
good
up.
idea.
It'll stay on.
Yep.
Yes, and that's what I was saying is like I've had to run chains so many times. I take that, because you put it over the top of the tire.
Yeah.
The inside, I hook it as tight as I can, and that outside, I pull that sucker to the very last length that I can get it on.
Have to
And
have
I'll
a breaker
spin-
bar.
Basically, yeah, I'll spend 2 or 3 minutes getting all the slack out of it, so I can get
Yeah.
it to that very last link. And then it's got the cam,
Yeah.
I don't know, cam plates, whatever they're called, and it's got like 4 of those on the tire, and I'll cam those suckers over. And that last one, I'm giving everything I got to get it locked down, cammed over, and there's no play in it. So the semi chains, and what I did is I've never bought a set of chains. What I do is I just drive up and down the interstate after a snow, and I grab them off the side of the road.
I owned a scrap yard, and someone scrapped 3,000 pounds of them. So I kept a few.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, and mine are like 3/8
Yep.
length, right? They're big,
The only
heavy
thing-
duty suckers.
The only thing I might do this year is I didn't need to use them this year, but the only thing I might do is weld them, weld tacks on them.
Little teeth.
Oh, give them a little traction.
A little bit of a yeah.
Yeah. My favorite pair, it's like square stock.
Yeah.
It's not regular round stock that they made them
No.
out of. They're square stock, and I put those on the front.
I can't put nothing on my front because I got 300-inch I got 295s, and my A arm or my camera, it's like real close. I don't have
Yeah.
spacers. You put
Yeah, I
spacers
can't-
on that shit, and it starts blowing your bearings out.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. It grabs if I cut too tight, it grabs radius arms, and if I stuff it too much, it grabs inner fender. Like my driver's side plastic fender, inside fender.
Yep.
That sucker, it's junk. I need to just cut it out so it stops grabbing the tire.
Yep.
Or
Oh,
tire
yeah,
stops
yeah,
grabbing. Yeah, the inner fender well. No, but I'm probably here in the next month. I'm gonna go straight axle it, and I'm gonna put Dana 60s underneath it. So then I'll never have to worry about that again, and I don't have to worry about breaking another axle shaft or blowing out a hub or nothing. That'd be 1-ton axles underneath that little Ranger, and I'll just go. Yeah, deflating the tires, big time. That helps a ton.
Deflate a
Tim.
set of tires, put your change on, then air the tires back up, and carry the set of tires on your dog bug. Carry
Yeah.
the set of tires.
So
Just remember to change
I
your
deflate
tires
my
before you
tires.
do
I
it.
run my tires right. So granted, I'm in a Ford Ranger. I'm running load range E tires because the thicker sidewalls, and I run them at
always run the
12 to 15 psi depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm in the snow, I'm running 12. If it's just wet dirt, I'm at about 15 psi. Because Jarrod knows the roads around here are junk.
Yep.
Just they're hard on a truck. So at 15 psi, you can run about 30-40 mile an hour on most of the roads and not get jarred around too bad. That 12 psi in the snow, that's where your tire starts to really pooch out on the sides.
Yeah.
And when you throw a set of tire chains on and you're aired down like that, it's almost as good as a snowcat until you find a snowbank that has no bottom.
So you high center.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got some
here.
pictures I can send you that is just like my hood's 4 foot high, and then right below that's headlights, and then right below that's snow.
I like how we're talking about snow, 100-degree weather. snow chains.
Right.
It's like the wrong time of year, but I guess we're ahead of the game.
Right.
Jeremiah,
I'm trying to.
I'm gonna have to put a
out
sweater
tips for
on.
this
It's
fall,
like 65 degrees out here right now.
65. Jeez.
Another
I'm
guy we need to
jealous.
kick off. I'm at 100.
Bye.
I'm at 108. Jeremiah, you got any
Dude,
good
that is-
stories in the night with? And what do you been in it 6 years, right?
Yeah, I've seen some things get Western.
Give us one of them. Give us one of them. Oh,
All
there's
right,
Brett talking. Look, there's Brett talking shit right there.
It's a
Snow
hypothetical story. This may or may not have happened. Green jeans on here still?
He may be. This is you heard this from a friend. This
Yeah,
is for entertainment purposes only.
I think this was in some other state too. I cut all night. I have a rich friend that was dumb enough to let me borrow his Argo. So I was rolling in an Argo with tracks, and I
got
rolled
one of those. No tracks yet.
Oh, that was so sweet, dude. But he won't give it back. But yeah, I drove the shit out of it that winter, and I drove that thing all night. Didn't cut the track that we were looking for, the tom we were looking for. All my buddies went home, and it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I decided to go take one more cut. And I had my puppy with me, and I was just cruising in the daylight up this canyon, and this tom ran right across in front of about 100 yards in front of the Argo, going up through the cottonwoods.
That's awesome.
And I called all my buddies. They were all pretty much loaded up still because we had just split up. And I'm like, I got a track. And they're like, well, how old is it? And I'm like, 2 minutes old. And they're like, bullshit. And I'm like, well, it's 2 minutes old. I watched it walk across here 2 minutes ago. Well, they hung up on me, and then they called back wondering if I was fucking with them. And they ended up showing up, and we got up there to the track and dumped their good dogs and my puppy with them. And they made probably a 3/4 of a mile run on that tom, just basically out of the valley into the cliffs. And this tom went up, and my buddy's blue tick, the only dog and the oldest dog he had this tom up in a cave, and it was kind of halfway up the rim rock. And my buddy crawled up there and got a look and started filming, taking pictures of this tom, but it was pretty tight, and the blue tick was pretty close to getting swatted. And we had our friend that's the shooter, and we tried to get him to climb up this tree to where he'd be level with the cat in the cave, and we could get him to just go ahead and take the shot before the dog got hurt. But we were kind of yelling at him in a hurry, and he got all nervous and scared about climbing the tree with a gun. So anyways, my buddy's up there in the cave with the lion and the dog, and that lion decided he was going to come out of there, and he came across my buddy's lap, and he had a 10 millimeter. And as the cat's coming across his lap, he put one in the cat. Well, the cat come off the cliff, and I was at the base of the tree right under the lion, probably a 15-foot drop between me and the cave. And the cat come over me, and I had my 6-shooter shooting the Blackhawk, and I got one shot off and hit him, thinking the front leg. And then he took off down the canyon. We got down there, started working it out, and the hunter finally got his shit together and started trailing that cat with the dogs, and it went right next to the snowmobiles in the willows. And he's following the blood trail, and I circle the willow patch, and right about the time I get to the other side, I say, hey, there's no track coming out of there. And he about stepped on that cat, just curled up in the creek bottom in the cattails, turned around for a fight. So then the hunter got to finish the job, but he was cool. He was pretty mad at the way it all went down. I thought it was the greatest Western lion hunt I've ever seen, and might be the best one I ever see.
Right?
He's like, I thought they were supposed to go up a tree and stay there.
On a good day.
I don't know why people get upset about hunting. You know, it's an unpredictable event. We're pursuing a wild animal. We have no clue what that sucker's gonna be doing or gonna do. You know, we're going with the flow. Our reactions are based off its actions.
You're using animals to track an animal, so either side could go.
There's so many variables.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then when you do have hunters, when you do have hunters, some of those guys don't get it, and they freeze up at the tree.
Yeah.
They freeze up
Yeah,
when that lion runs 2 feet from them, or something happens like that just happened. They freeze up, some of those guys. So,
Yeah.
or they're 400 pounds, or you got to get them into the trees, and then not always truck the tree in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Yep.
we usually tell these guys if they want to shoot one, they need to go find a track, and then we'll come with the dogs and hunt with them. But as long as they got a tag and they go get on their snowmobile and find themselves a track, I think they earned it a little. That guy did.
That's a good idea. Making them
that guy left
get
the
out and work.
ski area to come shoot that lion, so we had to wait on him to leave the ski area to come on the lion.
The
hunt.
lodge.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing Jarrod has to deal with. Them freaking yuppies.
I know.
Yep.
I get decent guys. The guys I get aren't bad.
Good.
Not yet.
I haven't
Not
had
yet.
I've only had in 6 years of guiding, I've had one guy where I'm like, you're not coming back.
No matter how much you pay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've only had one person like that. Everyone else, I've gotten so much free shit from hunters.
Yeah.
This one guy I took out, he came down with a tent, sleeping bag, because I'm not outfitted. I'm a guide service, so I don't feed or do the lodge. I just take you hunting. And he wanted to camp with me. I'm like, well, bring your own tent and bedroll and everything else. He's like, okay. He left everything. He packed all that stuff on a plane, brought it down, bought a cooler when he got here.
Didn't want to pack it back.
Didn't want to pack it back, and just left it for me.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
That's what
different.
Jarrod does. Jarrod has this insulated tent that pops up with a stove in it.
It's an ice shack.
When it's freezing.
Insulated.
Yeah, when it's freezing, and his stovepipe is glowing red.
Yeah.
I like that.
I hate the cold.
Yeah.
And it's not even that cold. It's like 26 for a low.
I just show up in my horse trailer and pull it down dirty roads and get it parked in a spot that it should be.
I had a camp spot picked out for Chris, nice flat spot. I'm like, here you go. Like water's like 100 yards down that way. You can drive a truck to go get it, whatever. He's like, no, I can't buy the water. Pulls up, dude. His trailer was on one side for a while going down that road.
It's top heavy.
Yeah.
I had the mules in a corral, and I like setting up camp next to it, especially down in that country. I don't need no one stealing my mules.
Yeah.
So in that country, I kind of circle the wagons.
Border jumper come in and help themselves to your animals.
Yeah. When you got dogs, they don't want to deal with dogs. Those guys don't like dogs.
I like that.
You got a bunch of dogs. I took down 10 or 11, so I'd take 5 or 6 out. So there's always 5, 6 dogs back there, and they bark.
Yeah.
Someone's walking up, they bark. So,
I like it. Good.
Yep. Well,
all right,
guys,
boys, I'm gonna hop off.
Yep, been 2 hours. Thanks for coming on, Jeremiah.
Time for dinner. Yeah, we'll catch you guys
nice
next time.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
Later.
What was it? Clyde?
Clyde.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's hot.
It is miserably hot, and I hate asphalt.
Yeah. Asphalt in the summer is not good.
No, that sounds completely miserable, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. Summer's almost over. So what I tell
It
myself
is. It actually is.
I heard it just started like 2 weeks ago.
Well, it didn't get hot like it usually does. So we're gonna have a real short hot season. But we haven't got no rain.
I hope it's short.
I got rain a week ago.
Did you?
We got 3 tenths. Yeah, we had a quick hitting monsoon come through, it was crazy. I went up, watered the dogs. I couldn't see leaving the property. I couldn't see. I come down off the mountain, hit blacktop, dry.
Acre rain. That's why Arizona calls it acre rain.
It rained
Acre rain.
Yeah, acre next to you.
Yeah. Well, so like 2 weeks ago, we got a monsoon that came up. That sucker hit every range, and by the time it hit us, it dropped. Here at my house, it was a 1/4 inch in about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Well, last night I went and pulled my cameras before I get in trouble for them, and the roads were bad, washed out, like gone, just gone. The creek itself dropped another 8 foot in depth. Yeah, it was just gone.
Huh.
You don't have to worry about the BLM coming to fix any of those roads anytime soon either.
No.
Yeah, I saw 2 sets of tracks that came off the top, and I assume they were Jeep tracks, because people out dipping off. But I drove up from the bottom, and I was able to get all the way through. But I'm more aggressive of a driver than most people are, and they came down off the top, and they stopped at the first real obstacle, which is a washout, of course. But yeah, so I found tracks. I found a couple old tracks and one old Tom track that was during the rain, but I never did find any fresh tracks that was from within the last 2 weeks, and just pulled my cameras and stuff last night. And so I'm running on about my hour and a half nap this afternoon and an hour nap last night, about 4 to 5.
Yeah, I got up at 2 Monday. I didn't go to bed till I think it was 11 o'clock. Oh, it was 11. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna go to bed early last night. No, stayed. I kind of dozed off watching a movie. Then they were screaming on the movie, woke me up. So then I didn't go back to bed till midnight, and I get up at 3:30. So I'm telling myself I'm gonna lay down tonight, take a nap, or go to bed, but I probably won't.
I'm gonna lay down and die tonight. I will be dead.
I don't know.
Mike,
How
is that you?
I gotta get 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm in bed by 10 and I'm up at 4.
My wife.
Sorry.
My wife hates it because I sleep for 4 hours and I'm up at 5 and I'm awake. I have to drag her out, drag her across the floor, set her up in the chair, hook the IV up to her that has coffee in it. Just get her to open. Yeah. Yep. So yeah.
Yeah, my whole shift at work this week was effed off. 3 to 5 hours a night for 4 days, and then I come home and don't even sleep last night, and I'm bad. I'm hurting.
Time to go night.
Yeah, I'll probably sleep 12 hours tonight or something.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, another one down, guys.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for coming on. We'll probably do it again next Wednesday.
I'll be in Mexico.
What?
There you go. Well, they got service there.
I'll be down by Nayarit.
What are you doing down there?
Tell us about this. You can't freaking drop that bomb and not tell us.
I'm going offshore fishing for a week.
Oh,
shoot!
I got drunk at an SCI banquet and I got bid and happy, and I was like, I'm winning this thing.
Yep.
So
cool,
I
man.
go marlin, sailfish, and rooster fishing for 5 days. Me and the wife.
Are you planning on bringing meat back, or are you just going for fun?
Just going for fun. Just leave it down there.
All right. Well, good luck, man. Sounds like a hell of a good time.
As long as it quits raining. So
take some video. We'll play it. We'll play it the week after.
Yeah. Don't forget your sunblock.
Right.
All righty, Jared. We don't like you now, so you can go away.
Well.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet. Have a good night.
Go get some sleep, Rowdy.
I'm going to try. I appreciate it.
Later.
Bye.
Later.